Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Big Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 4 college basketball games for Monday, February 27th, 2023. Now if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $15 bank shot best bet, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Monday in college hoops. First up, we go to the Atlantic Sun as we are ready for conference tournament action. It's the best time of the year in college hoops, my favorite time of the year with these conference tourneys into March Madness. And we got 2 games in the A-Sun Conference Tournament on Monday. We see Florida Gulf Coast and Queens University in this game. Also, Bellarmine and North Florida playing their first round game. Both of these games, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. You know, Queens University, this is their first season in Division I hoops, so they are ineligible to make it to the NCAA tournament. Even if they win this conference tournament, they will not be able to play in the big dance, and we've seen that with teams just like Bellarmine, who made the move to Division I a couple years ago. These teams have to wait a little while before they're able to be eligible, but you would think maybe, if a team doesn't even have a chance to make the big dance, why would they really care about playing in the conference tournament? Would they even really be motivated to win the conference tournament? Well, in the Atlantic Sun, we've seen a few teams like Bellarmine, who last year was ineligible to make the NCAA tournament, but they still won the Atlantic Sun Conference Tournament. They won 3 games in the conference tournament to win it all. We saw a few years back where Stetson was academically ineligible to make the tournament, and that didn't stop the Hatters, and they were a big underdog in the conference tournament, but they still went all the way to the championship, and they forced a buzzer beater for Florida Gulf Coast to win it. It was a very close game, very exciting game, but Stetson was on its way to win the A-Sun, so just because Queens can't make the NCAA tournament, I think the motivation for both of these teams in this game will still be at a very high level. And I think Queens is the better team, and I think they're at home in this game. It's a big home court advantage in the A-Sun Conference Tournament. You get home court advantage if you're the better seed. So we see Queens here. They beat Florida Gulf Coast back on January 26th by 2 points, 84-82. This game sets up to be another close game, but we're laying a pretty reasonable number with Queens University. In this one, they're coming off 2 losses to Liberty. I think Liberty is the far best team in this conference by far, so I don't really put too much into those losses. I think Queens is the better team in this particular matchup. They have some nice wins in conference play and non-conference play as well this season. Give me Queens University. Next up, we go to the Mountain West as Nevada takes on Wyoming. This one, 9 o'clock Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Wyoming, like I've mentioned many times on the Bank Shot Breakdown, it's been a disappointing year for the Cowboys, but I still think that they're competing, and this is still a team that has nothing to lose right now. They're 8-20 overall. They're 3-13 in conference play. They've suffered a lot of injuries, but they're still competing. We saw them take down New Mexico on the road by 14 points, and although their defense has struggled a little bit as of late, I will say this is senior night, your final home game of the season. A few seniors on this team, Hunter Maldonado, the most notable one for Wyoming, and Nevada has played a good amount of close games in conference play. I was not really impressed with their performance against Fresno State last time out, so this is their second straight road game, only a couple days of rest in between, and you're coming off a game where you beat Fresno State, one of the weaker teams in the conference, by 4 points, even though you had a big advantage in terms of your 3-point percentage, 38.5% compared to Fresno State's 25.7%. So I do think Nevada could be in trouble in this game. I think Wyoming, like I said, a team that has nothing to lose, a team I also think is just undervalued in general and underrated. I think a team that's a lot better than what we've seen and a lot better than their current record. So I think Wyoming on senior night puts on a nice performance here, covers the number at least, maybe pulls off the win, but give me the points here with the Wyoming Cowboys. Next up, we go to the Big 12 as Baylor takes on Oklahoma State. This one's going to be 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. As much as I'd like to say, I want to take the home underdog here for a bounce-back performance. Oklahoma State's lost 4 straight games. I just can't do it. I know they have a nice home court advantage. I know it's going to be senior night. Should be a very, very tough crowd to play in Baylor. They've lost their last 2 road games, and overall, they've been much better on their home court than they have been on the road. So that is a little bit concerning, but when you just look at the way these teams have played, I just cannot trust this Oklahoma State defense right now, and I didn't think I was going to say that at any point this season, as it's still ranked 12th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. But when you look at this Oklahoma State defense, giving up 87 points to Kansas, 100 points to TCU in regulation, they gave up 85 points to West Virginia, and then last time out losing by 5 points on your home court to Kansas State, giving up 73 in the end. So that's 4 straight games, giving up 70-plus points, not what we're used to seeing from Oklahoma State. We know this team just cannot compete offensively. The way they win games is by playing very good defensively. trusting in that home court and that home court advantage and rebounding the ball very well. But lately, that just hasn't been the case. Oklahoma State, their offense is still ranked 111th in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency. So if they're planning on getting into a shootout here with Baylor, I think it's going to be an ugly game because Baylor's number 2 in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency, a great three-point shooting team, a great offensive rebounding team, a team that gets to the free throw line, and a team that can score 80-plus points really against any opponent in the Big 12, just like we saw against one of the tougher defenses in the Big 12 last time out for Baylor when they beat Texas 81-72. So, Baylor, not a great road team, but I think they're good enough here. I don't like the current form that Oklahoma State's in, really, on both ends of the court. So give me Baylor. I'm going to lay the points. Next up, we go to the Big Sky as Montana State takes on Eastern Washington. This one's going to be 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. Now, we finally saw Eastern Washington lose its first conference game of the season to a team that I did not expect at all that they would lose to in Idaho State, a team I think is the second worst or one of the worst teams in the Big Sky this year overall. And it just goes to show you home court advantage. Anything can happen in conference play in college basketball. But Eastern Washington, even though they just lost a game, I still think that they are overvalued in this spot. I think these are the top 2 teams in the conference, teams you're going to watch out for in the conference tournament. And I think Montana State could be the better team, honestly, and I think they are the much better matchup in this game. Eastern Washington has been known this season to take a lot of tough shots and make them at really good rates, but although, you can cash in on those against some of the weaker teams in the conference, against a Montana State team and a Montana State defense that's ranked 72nd in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency, a defense that forces turnovers, and a defense that is very good on the glass and getting those defensive rebounds, I think Montana State's defense is going to show up in a big way, even on the road in this one. And Montana State's offense, although they're not the best shooting team, they get to the free throw line. They're a good free throw shooting team. They take care of the basketball. So I think Montana State is good enough. They've won 4 straight games, as well as 9 of their last 10 games. So they have, although they're not 16-1 like Eastern Washington, 14-3 in conference play, really impressive still. The first matchup between these two was a very close game. It was a 70-67 final score. I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar result in this game, but I think Montana State wins it by a score like that. So give me the Bobcats. I'm going to take the points. I think they win this game outright. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.